Aside from being buff and healthy, what's the most desirable part of the body that most people want to attain? Think abs. Cut biceps and triceps are easily attainable, but what about abs? A majority of health-conscious individuals frequently ask the same question over and over again: how to get a six-pack? An impressive six-pack isn't just a result of any old generic workout. Devotion to each of its components is a necessary ingredient to specifically target the obliques, upper, and of course, let's not forget the stubborn lower abs. Tips and techniques to achieving the desired six-pack. Attaining that six-pack isn't possible overnight, but with these tips and a healthy diet, it won't be an unbearable journey. There are a lot of ways on how to get a six-pack with the generic method of working out. Try following some of these tips to achieve the desired effect. Plan the six-pack ab success. Most people forget this step and skip right through to the next. This is the most crucial step to getting those sculpted abs. Why doesn't anyone ever talk about the planning phase? Because the planning part isn't exactly sexy as opposed to getting right into it hastily. So first, start by making decisions on the perfect program to choose. It's important not to get caught up with the latest or trendiest fads. Go straight to planning the desired diet and exercise. Diet all the way. Cut out all the carbs and sugary foods. Food is the key thing on how to get a six-pack. No matter the amount of time put into use by working out, if by the end of the day that unhealthy junk enters the system, all that hard work will be anything but effective. A little supplement doesn't slim the chances of achieving those abs, so make sure to take some. Recognize myth from fact on getting those sculpted abs. Word of mouth is a sure way of passing important information around fast, but are they necessarily true? Not always. For instance, when somebody says the best way to obtain abs is by doing 100 crunches a day, this is not entirely true. Crunches burn very few calories per minute. They strengthen the abdominals, but they don't do an extensive help in shedding the layer of fat covering the abs. Another classic myth on how to get a six-pack is that cardio exercise needs to be high to get clearly defined abdominal muscles. Doing an intense weight training program and a good diet plan is actually a more successful way of losing abdominal fat. As mentioned earlier, a good plan is always the first step, and as it turns out, a good way of busting those myths. Either the goal is to have Carl Urban, aka Judge Dredd's core of steel, or a Calvin Klein model's killer runway abs. Don't get caught up with anything too flashy, and especially not in myths. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to decode the effective ways on how to get a six-pack. It just needs determination, a plan, and the discipline to stick to that plan. Thank you for taking the time out to click on this video and watch it. As there's a limited space, only a finite number of details are touched on here. Should you have more questions on the subject, please feel free to leave them in the comments below.